So hello to all of you joining us via live stream, and to everyone here in the room with me. Thank you all for joining us. These Thursday evening Zoom meetups are the public facing part of the Vidwheel Creator Network. And what is the VCN? It's a group that brings together consultants and solopreneurs who aspire to take our businesses to the next level with self-produced video. We help increase your reach. We help you become more efficient and grow your business through video. If you find that intriguing, then this might be the group for you. The easiest way to learn more is to book a quick, no strings attached meeting with myself so we can talk video. There's a booking link in the video description of this live stream, and I dropped it in the chat here for anybody who's in the meeting with me. We also have a nifty new free tools resources page that is in the video description, and I dropped that in the chat for everybody in the room as well. And one last note to the folks who are watching via live stream. It's a good preview to watch one of these meetings via live stream, but if you want to get the full experience, join us on the next Zoom meeting for the next Zoom meetup. We're actually switching up our schedule a little, and the next Zoom meetup will be a midday meetup. It's still on Thursday. It's on May 19th, but it's going to be at noon Eastern time. This meetup will feature LinkedIn expert Rachel Simon, who will be presenting how to leverage video on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you love it. It's a great place to connect with other businesses and professionals, but how do you leverage video on the platform? You can find out both tonight and on 5/19. Info for that event can be found at events.vidwheel.com. It's also in the description for this live stream. Okay, so with all that out of the way, let's get to it. We're kicking off LinkedIn month right here with Patrick Carrano. And I lost my place in my notes, but Patrick Carrano is a marketer and content creator, and he's presenting quick and easy LinkedIn workouts with video. He's going to talk a bit about how to create LinkedIn video content consistently and effectively, how to leverage video on LinkedIn in addition to standard posts, and the 4 pillars of initiate and differentiate. So everybody who's in the meeting here, you're going to want to stick around until after we shut down the live stream, because Patrick's got a few freebies for you. He's got 3 quick and easy social media workouts e-guide, 8 complimentary video content templates and scripts, and a discount offer. It's going to be a good one. Patrick, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. The floor is yours.
All right. Thanks, Neil. I really appreciate it. I'm just going to give me a second here to share my screen. And get to present mode here. All right. Can we see my book cover there? Thumbs up. All right, cool. So first of all, thanks, Neil, for having me on. I've been a participant or an audience member on probably about a handful of these right now. And I really like what Neil has done with these Zoom meetups with the Vidwheel network. I always learn a lot. There's always some great guests. I've seen Barb's presentation live. I just watched Ben's presentation on demand on YouTube. And there's a few others that I've seen as well that I always come out of these things with something, and hopefully you all will come out of mine with something. So tonight's presentation, like Neil said, is called Quick and Easy LinkedIn Workouts with Video. And I base this presentation off of my e-guide, 3 quick and easy social media workouts. So I basically have taken my e-guide, but put a video spin or a video angle on it for tonight. And I also will be referring to my ebook, Content Jumpstarter for Professional Branding. So who is this for? And really what I've wrote these publications for are for solopreneurs, sales professionals, and job seekers, among others. But those are my 3 core audiences. And I'm really targeting people where video content is a desire, but it's also a challenge because you have that thing called a life, right? We all have those things called a life that kind of gets in the way. And where I guess you could say some of the inspiration came from for me writing the 2 publications was over the years, I'm typically pretty active on LinkedIn, and my colleagues and peers and customers would ask me and say, I see your content all the time on LinkedIn. I know I should be doing something like that. I know I need to do it for my career. However, I can just never find the time, or whenever I do try to start it, I just don't even know where to begin. So tonight's presentation is a lot about getting yourself organized and consistently and effectively creating content through a system and a structure. Tonight is not going to be about what kind of camera to use or what kind of graphics to use. People such as Neil and others on the show tonight can give you much better advice than I ever can on that. That's not my specialty. What I'm focusing on is simply how to get yourself organized and stay disciplined and motivated to continue to generate ideas for your content. My 4 pillars of initiate and differentiate. In almost all my posts, I use the hashtags initiate and differentiate. It's kind of my tagline, I guess you could say, because I really think those 2 things are very important when you're trying to create content, is that you have to somehow initiate your own enthusiasm and your own effort to do it. And then when you do it, your content has to be differentiated enough to stand out from the crowd. So my 4 pillars are consistency beats perfection. None of us are perfect, so we might as well be consistent. Action beats analysis. Many people get caught up in over-analysis, overthinking their content, therefore it never gets done. And finishing beats adjusting. There's always going to be something that you can adjust, but at some point you just need to finish it and let it go. And then lastly, content beats job title. And I think if you're on the live audience here tonight, you probably agree with that jobs will come and go, job titles may change, customers may change, your business landscape may change, but your content is always going to stay with you. And depending on where you are at in your career, your job title may not appropriately reflect all of your skills, abilities, and knowledge, but your content will always be able to show that. Okay, so those are my 4 pillars of initiate and differentiate. Stacking for success. And this is where the 3 quick and easy LinkedIn workouts come in, angled for video, is that you can have the best intentions, you can have all the dreams in the world you want, but if you don't have a system, you're going to fall to the level or the lack thereof of your system. Your system is the foundation of your online presence and your professional branding efforts. And that's what I think a lot of people lack today, is a system to keep them on track. Systems support habits. I'm a big believer in stacking habits, and habits support outcomes. And if you have outcomes, you have success, and that'll keep you going. So tonight is going to be a lot about creating a system that'll help you stay on track. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm going to go over 3 workouts that I developed. And I developed these workouts by kind of, when people were saying to me, how do you do this? I got to be honest with you, when I first started on LinkedIn, I didn't necessarily write out these workouts and say, this is what I'm going to do 15 minutes a day. But as I thought about it, I started taking a lot of the things that I did do on a consistent basis, because when I first started out, my goal was I would just wake up in the morning and say, just put something out, just put something out there, just put something out there. And then I started kind of developing more of a routine for it. So what I'm showing you right here is workout number 1. And all these workouts are only 15 minutes each. And workout number 1 in minutes 1 through 5, and I do seriously recommend you setting a timer or a clock on your cell phone or wherever to keep track of this. In minutes 1 through 5, you're just scanning LinkedIn for relevant content. You're not getting too deep into reading things from start to finish. You're just scanning content. You're scanning headlines, reading maybe the first paragraph of the content, and anything that you see that you think is relevant to your brand or the space that you're working in, you're going to save it for later. And how you save it is on a LinkedIn post in the top right-hand corner, there's a little menu bar. If you click on that menu bar, you can click save for later, and it goes in your my saved items on your profile. And I have tons of saved items stored up that when I'm ready to act on them, I kind of have a library of things to act on. In minutes 6 through 10 in this workout, you're going to go back to any content you've saved and you're going to start reading it more thoroughly. You can start interacting with it, liking it, sharing it, commenting on it, anything that you've saved previously. And you're also trying to log ideas about things that you can create your next video for. Because what you're reading should be helping you come up with ideas for your video. And then minutes 11 through 15, that's when you're going to work on the content for your video. The recording of the video is one thing, but developing the script or the outline for it, that many times takes longer than the actual recording session. And I think that's where people struggle, is coming up with, what am I actually going to talk about on this video? So this is where you can brainstorm, you can create your outline, your scripts, your editing. If you have a podcast and you're doing a video show, this is where you can spend your time researching guests, recruiting guests, etc. So once again, this is only 15 minutes. Are you going to get a ton done in 15 minutes? No, you're not going to have the whole thing wrapped up in 15 minutes, but 15-minute sessions stacked up over time are going to add up. So I'm going to jump to workout number 2. Workout number 2 is actually a series of workouts over the course of 3 days. So workout number 2 is very similar to workout number 1. However, what we're doing in workout number 2 is we're doing all the same stuff we did in workout number 1. However, we're spending all 15 minutes on one thing a day in workout number 2. So for day 1, the entire 15 minutes is going to be spent on scanning your headlines, your LinkedIn feeds, your Twitter list, etc., for ideas on relevant content to interact with and share. Day 2, the entire 15 minutes is going to be all about interacting with the content that you've saved from day 1 or any other day that you may have saved it. And then day 3, the entire 15 minutes is simply focusing on either developing your ideas for your video, writing it out, scripting it, outlining it, editing it, etc. Okay. If you miss a day in this 3-day rotation workout, just pick up on the next day. So if you do day 1 on Monday, day 2 on Tuesday, and then day 3, you don't do anything, then on Thursday, you pick back up again, just pick up on Thursday with day 3. Okay, don't go reset back to day 1. Just let it be a continually revolving rotation of days, because otherwise you'll just always be restarting on day 1. The last workout is called the Focus 15 workout. This is workout number 3. You get your choice here. Once again, you're just going to spend all 15 minutes on one thing in this workout. It could be researching LinkedIn for all 15 minutes on a specific hashtag, a company that you're prospecting for a sale or for a job, researching your industry, an influencer in your industry. All these things should be helping you with developing your ideas for your video. Or you can spend your 15 minutes solely on video planning. All right. So I think, workout 3 is, if you really need to focus in on something, this is the workout to pick, but obviously you can experiment with all of these. So now the frequently asked questions I get about all these workouts is, first and foremost, what workout is best for me? That's really an individual decision. I would suggest experimenting with all of the workouts, get a feel for what one or what combination of workouts works for you. I would suggest trying each workout for probably at least 2 weeks straight to see kind of what you're comfortable with, what you like or what you don't like about each of the 3 workouts. Number 2, can I mix the workouts up? Absolutely. Just like a physical workout program, if you do the same workout over and over, you're probably going to get a little bit bored. So even myself, I like to mix these workouts up a little. I'll do workout 1 for 2 or 3 weeks in a row. Then I'll do workout 2 for 2 or 3 weeks in a row, just to change things up. Because the one thing we want to do, just like in a physical workout plan, and why I titled the e-guide 3 quick and easy social media workouts, is that it really is very similar to working out on a physical basis. You have to keep your enthusiasm up for working out in order to make it consistent. And then the last FAQ is, how frequently should I work out? I would say if you're struggling to be consistent with LinkedIn, I would shoot for 2 to 4 times a week. I wouldn't expect anyone to do it 7 days a week. If you can do it 7 days a week, more power to you. But once again, that thing called life sometimes gets in the way. And I think many of us may get intimidated when we see the social media icons on LinkedIn saying, you need to constantly produce content, hustle, work at it harder, blah, blah, blah. But let's face it, we all have lives. We all have maybe kids to get to sports practice. We have friends we want to meet. We have a sink of dirty dishes we got to get to. We got to get laundry folded. This is the real world here. You may have a couple jobs you're trying to balance. So I would say is how frequently you should work out. It depends on you. I would try to do at least 2 times a week if you're just starting out. But aim to get 4 or 5 times a week. That would be ideal. And if you can do more than that, that's great. But the thing I get concerned about is if you try to start out doing these workouts 7 days a week, you're going to burn yourself out. And then you're not going to want to do it anymore. So just like a physical workout, as I've gotten older and my energy is stretched between different responsibilities, even from a physical workout perspective, my whole goal is to work out, but still have enough motivation and energy to do it the next day or the day after that. Because I know I could work out for an hour and a half physically, just like I could do social media for an hour and a half a day if I wanted to, but I'm not going to be able to maintain my stamina, my energy, and my motivation to keep doing it. And I would rather see you do shorter workouts more consistently, but keep the motivation to want to do it again and again and again. And eventually all these little mini workouts will stack up. We're not trying to win the whole year at one time with these workouts. We're trying to win one day at a time. We're trying to go 1-0 every day. Okay. So now that we've gone through the workouts, how can you leverage video on LinkedIn? And some of these things you may know about, some of them you may not. I think most of us who look through our LinkedIn feed realize that, video posts are popular today, how they're, reacted to by LinkedIn and the algorithm. We could go on and on for hours about that, about how LinkedIn ranks them. But let's face it, you can't swipe your thumb more than twice probably on LinkedIn without seeing some kind of video. We're living in a very visual world these days. We got YouTube, TikTok. So videos do tend to stick out. I would start off with trying to create quick videos for your post, maybe videos that lead into some other kind of longer form piece of content. Then as you get more comfortable, you can start creating longer and longer videos as you get more comfortable. The second thing you can leverage video on that I don't think many people are taking full advantage of are direct messages to someone in your LinkedIn network. And my understanding is you can only do this through the LinkedIn mobile app. You can't do this on the desktop website version. The last time I checked, I always just use the mobile app. But you can record your video message directly to someone in your network using the LinkedIn mobile app. To me, it's the second best thing to having an in-person conversation. And few people are doing this. I think you'll really stand out from the crowd. I think it's much more effective than simply typing a message in. I can tell you, I don't get many LinkedIn video messages, but whenever I do, guaranteed to look at them every time, just because I'm curious to see what the person is saying in their video to me. And I've used these with pretty good success. So I think when we talk about initiate and differentiate, this is a way to really differentiate yourself if you're trying to message a prospect or whoever else that you may be trying to get their attention directly through LinkedIn. Go to your messaging section and cut a video right to the person. It doesn't have to be anything real fancy. And then the last thing you can leverage video in for LinkedIn that I also don't think enough people are taking advantage of is the intro video. I have an intro video. Some people call it an intro video. Some people call it an elevator pitch, however you want to call it, kind of who you are, what you do, and how you provide value. I put my intro video right in the features section of my LinkedIn profile. I looked at many of your profiles before this, and I see a lot of you are leveraging the features section of your profile, which I think is great. The features section is kind of like the highlights, like the real good stuff of what you want people to see on your profile. And I think an intro video is the best place for that. That way people can get to know you 24/7. And I really do think it's a valuable thing. And I also think, going back to differentiation, it adds some personality and differentiation to your profile where many other profiles won't have that. So those are the 3 ways that I like to leverage video on LinkedIn. I've given you some structure, some workouts to try to make these things happen. And hopefully you can, if you're not already incorporating these things, can incorporate them into your careers, your jobs, or your own businesses. Getting into some scripts here, and like Neil mentioned, I'll be sending out 8 video content scripts to all of you on the live feed here. But this is a sample script on an intro video. And like I said, this is all about who you are, what you're passionate about, how you provide value to those you serve, and what you're looking for, whether that be job opportunities, consulting opportunities, partnering with people, and how to reach out to you. So this is one content template. The next one is a template for a prospect, a direct message content template to a prospect. Once again, telling them, thanking them for their receiving your connection request or accepting your connection request. And you're now connecting with them on a one-to-one level, trying to make that connection with them. And I watched Ben Albert's presentation from a while ago, and I think he does a really good job of talking to you about how to make connections through LinkedIn. But this is one way you can do it. You want to make a connection to the person, telling them that you've acknowledged or saw something that they've done that you like. You're providing them with a follow-up after this video. You're going to send them some piece of content or some kind of resource that you think will be valuable to them. And then just close up with how you help companies and how they can reach you. So this is a real easy way to make a prospecting call, I guess you could say it, but directly through LinkedIn video message that I doubt your competitors are going to do. It's much more effective than sending an email or just leaving a voicemail. So with that being said, what all of you live audience members will be getting tonight, stick around once the recorded portion is over. I'm going to give you my 3 quick and easy social media workouts, which also includes a sneak peek bonus from my ebook, Content Jumpstarter for Professional Branding. You're going to get the whole chapter, excuse me, from my ebook, which has the video scripts in it. And you're going to also get a special discount offer for additional help, which I'll talk about later.
Do you need a moment for a drink, Patrick?
Yeah, I do.
One. I'll ramble for a second. So one of the things I noticed from your templates is that all of them have a very clear call to action, CTA, at the end of those templates, which is another thing that I think no matter where you're talking about marketing, that is really important. So did that get you your drink? Go for it, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that quick timeout there. I've been talking all day and I think my voice is giving out here, but yeah, the call to actions are very important. You always want to tell your audience member, doesn't matter if it's video, email, voicemail, whatever, what you're looking for them to do. Give them some direction. Don't leave it open-ended. But and here is Content Jumpstart for Professional Branding. This is my ebook where I do have 50 content templates. I have a whole chapter filled with video content templates, but quite honestly, probably half of the templates that are in the book, they're written, but they could easily be converted into a video if you wanted to. So if you're interested in that, the website for that is on the screen. And to wrap up here before we get into audience Q&A, if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can follow me on Twitter. It's simply Patrick Carrano, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I don't do a ton on YouTube. I use YouTube more as a video library. I'm very active on LinkedIn and Twitter. And then obviously you can also just reach me directly by emailing me at patrick@contentjumpstarter.com. So with that, Neil, I'll let you take it away here.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Patrick, for that presentation. I'll talk a little bit to give you another drink if you need one. And does anyone have any questions? Any questions that you want to ask Patrick about the presentation that he went through? If not, I always load up a few. So it's a pretty informal setup here, so you can just unmute and ask your question or raise your hand on screen.
Where do I find my saved items on LinkedIn?
If you go to the left side on your homepage of LinkedIn, underneath your picture, there should be something called My Saved Items. And actually, maybe I can just share my screen here, because I can just bring up my LinkedIn screen. Hold on one second. I can show you that.
That's a great question, because if you save them and you can't find them, then, you know.
1 second here.
So
can
awesome.
You all see my LinkedIn page?
Yep.
Okay. So this is my homepage of my LinkedIn screen. Underneath my picture on the left here, it says My Items. And there we go. Hold on. Sorry. Saved posts. And right here are all the posts that I have saved over time I got a couple of Neils that I just haven't gotten to. Look at that. What great timing is that, huh? So at any point, I got a whole library here of stuff that is ready for me to either read a little bit more about or interact with a little bit more. But that's where the first portion of those workouts comes in handy, is that, the first, 5 minutes of workout 1 or day 1 of workout 2, I'm not going real deep into reading through everything that might look good to me. I'm just scanning headlines, reading the first few sentences and saving it for later. And then when I'm in, more interaction mode, then I just go through all those saved posts and just interact on them.
Excellent. Any other questions from anybody? Ben, you're really giving me a workout on the admit button today, huh?
Yeah, I want to apologize for that, Neil. I've been on
That's
vacation
right.
3 weeks. Is it just me, or did Zoom change every feature?
Yeah, they've been making some moves, I guess.
Yeah. I have multiple external things and nothing's working. And yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, I've probably came and left the room 4 times, so I'm putting Neil to work.
That's all right. Any other questions for Patrick here?
I just wanted to reemphasize what he was saying about having the script. I mean, as we've seen, there've been many quote unquote blockbuster movies, the big stars, the special effects, but the story was horrible. So having a script of what you want to say is incredibly important. And something you might consider doing, we happen to use a bot to do it, but there are other ways to do it, is whatever your field you work in, is to research what kind of questions people ask about the field that you work in, because that is golden content right there. You answer those questions, that will help get you organic traffic.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. That you want to be organized when you go on camera. You don't want to be rambling, and if you can't write out, a full, not necessarily a full script word for word, if that's not possible, at least have an outline written out of some key, like almost like an agenda of what you want to cover, and kind of look over that, because you can definitely tell when someone puts a video up and they have not prepared. It is obvious. So I would agree with that completely, Daniel. And in terms of how to get other ideas on how to generate content, I have a whole chapter in my book about that. And, I tell people, If you want to get ideas on content, look through the emails that you're sending on a day-to-day basis. What are your customers asking you? What are you answering for your customers? Look on industry websites, publications, the topics that they're talking about, and put your own spin on it. So completely agree with that.
Yeah, that's a great hack. The email, looking back through email, or just looking through your notes of the conversations you've had with potential clients. That's a gold mine for any type of content, right? Video or otherwise. So, all right, Daniel's got a nice a friend with him now on the on this feed. Excellent. Anybody else have questions for Patrick here? If not, I'm gonna hop in with something. I don't know if you've done the math, Patrick, but if you do 5 days a week all year long with 2 weeks of vacation, so you're not killing yourself at that 15 minutes a day, you actually end up logging 62 and a half hours in a year. So if you start to think about what you could accomplish in a week and a half of solid work, then it starts to make more sense to do that type of thing. And if you are saying, well, yeah, but I can't do it for 5 days a week, 3 days a week is 37 and a half hours. So that's almost a full week's worth of work in your typical 9 to 5.
Yeah. I could do that in just one rambling video.
Yeah, there you go. And to go one step further with that, the advice we often give within the creator network is, and you mentioned, like, don't try to do 7 days a week because you'll burn yourself out, is to commit to a number that you're going to be able to do. So if you're really unsure, do 1 day a week or 2 days a week and commit to that, and make sure that you're doing it consistently and it fits into your business life, and then you can ramp up from there. And Bernhard's got a question here. So
it's more than a question. It's just a big thank you, Patrick, because with this one explanation about saving, real quick, you just saved me about 30 minutes of LinkedIn scroll time per day. So that means that you just gifted me with 3.5 hours for every week, and I will be buying your book. I mean,
awesome. That's great. I'm glad to hear that.
I mean, no, because that's one of the things that has been most bothering me with LinkedIn. It's like you start scrolling, you stop, you comment, you interact, and I knew that there must be a better way of doing that, bringing in that system, and it definitely it gave me the right tip. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. And the save feature is also a little known. I shouldn't say it's little known, just little used. People don't realize it. And I do think that if you can kind of block your focus into scanning and then have another focus for interacting, you'll be that much more productive rather than trying to scan, interact. You lose focus. So I think that's a big one. And another little hack is that if you're looking through your LinkedIn news feed and you kind of tend to see the same people over and over again, because it's usually the people that you interact with the most or like the most, you're going to start to see them a lot more, which makes sense. But if you want to switch things up and mix it up a little bit, there's a little thing at the top of your feed that says sort by. And I think the choices are like
recent.
Yeah, featured or recent. Recent will just show you purely by time. You're going to see all the people who post, literally like the most recent people, regardless if you interact with them or not. And you will definitely see a difference in your feed by switching between those two sorting features to just put a little bit more diversity or variety in your feed, I guess. So that's one other thing, but the save feature is huge. And the other thing I also use in conjunction with LinkedIn is, I know we're talking about LinkedIn, but I'll just mention Twitter, is I use Twitter a little bit, but I use Twitter as more of a research tool, and I still use Twitter lists. I create Twitter lists and, of like things that I'm focused on. and I'll just go to my Twitter list. And then if I see something I like, I'll just copy it over to LinkedIn and comment on it or whatever. So I know Twitter lists are kind of old school, but they work for me. And it's better. I'm not a big fan of just going through your LinkedIn news feed and just hoping you find some fish in there. If you're going to do that, use LinkedIn, focus on a particular hashtag or keyword or something and see what comes up from there.
I was going to add to that's a tip I shared in the VCN community this week, the whole featured versus recent. And it works if you're using it, if you're searching by hashtag or any other search function, you can do the same thing to kind of get a different look, right? Get different people in your search, which can be really helpful. Looks like we might have time for one more if somebody's got one more question for Patrick. All right, go for it.
It's Patrick, maybe you can give me some insight on that. When I check the visuals on my written posts and I compare them to what LinkedIn says, how many people have viewed my videos, there's a huge difference by thousands. But then again, when I see the impressions and the comments, there's not that much of a difference.
I've got this
just an example. For example, for a written post, I get 1,800 or 2.5 or 3,500 views. I'm not that popular. And for my videos, I might get 500, 300. But on the impressions and the comments, it's just about the same.
Yeah, go ahead, Neil. I'll let you comment.
I've got this one because this has been my discussions all week on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn recently made a big change on this, right? And going back, it's always been that organic video content, they've listed as views, whereas every other type of content, links, text, images, their main analytics point would be impressions. So that doesn't sound like a big difference, but the reality is impressions is it just shows up on the screen somewhere, even if you're flying down, scrolling quickly down your news feed or whatever it is. A view was that a viewer had to watch 3 consecutive seconds of your video with 51% or more of the player on screen at a given time. So that's not like a huge threshold. It doesn't mean they even really watched the video, but it is a different threshold than just getting an impression. So what you would see for a long time, and I'll get to why this is kind of different and changing now, but what you would see would be exactly what you described. 2,000 views on this post, and it had, X number of interactions, and only 2,000 impressions on this post, and it had, we'll say, 20 interactions, and you would have 500 views on the video, and for whatever reason, it had 30 interactions, right? So what they've done, because this is confusing and kind of silly the way they had it set up, was if you have a creator account, they're currently rolling out a new statistical setup so that everything's in impressions, native video, posts, links, whatever else you're doing. And an even cooler part about it is it's retroactive. So you can look at if you have 2 posts in mind that you're thinking of, the one that's 2,000 impressions and the one that's 500 views, when that filters down to your profile on LinkedIn, or if it already has, you'll be able to go back and be like, oh, this really got 3,000 impressions, 500 views, while the other one got 2,000 impressions, and then it all makes sense, right? So that was maybe more long-winded than it needed to be, and but that's been you can look at some of the posts that I've been involved with this week, and that's been a big talking point. So and I think with that, we are going to officially shut down, but feel free to stick around after the meeting for anybody who's in the Zoom here, and we will continue to chat. So thank you to all of you who have joined us via live stream, and to all of you who are in the meeting with me here. Again, don't miss the next meeting, the next Zoom meetup, which is Thursday, May 19th at noon. LinkedIn expert Rachel Simon is presenting how to leverage video on LinkedIn. The event info for that event is published at events.vidwheel.com, and you can find that in the description of this live stream if you're watching via live stream. With that, have a good night, and thank you for checking